Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kat. Happy 2025! I cannot believe we are in the new year now. This is so exciting and so crazy too because 2024 felt like it went by in a flash. So this is my first video of the year. In this video, I'm basically going to go over the last few books that I've read at the end of 2024 and just some channel updates, some things that I want to incorporate in my channel. So I'll start off with the books that I've read, then I'll get into the channel updates. To wrap up 2024, I finished off with 3 books, which of course isn't a lot. Unfortunately, I did not make my Goodreads goal, but that's okay. I'm not out here trying to pressure myself to read. But I didn't read that much because first I was sick, and then I went on vacation, and then my dad was hospitalized for 2 weeks. So I was a bit all over the place and reading was kind of pushed to the side, but that's okay. I'm hoping this year I can do a little bit more than I did last year. Alright, so let's get into it. First and foremost, I have Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I gave this a 4.5 star rating. I have a whole vlog that I dedicated to reading this book. Basically, it's about 2 sisters. The youngest sister is off to marry a supposedly tyrannical king called the God King, and the oldest sister sets out to save her young sister from marrying this tyrant. There's so much that happens in this book. So far it's a standalone. Brandon Sanderson has mentioned about potentially making a sequel to it, but in this one book so far there's a lot of events that take place. Also, it has a very unique magic system, and one that is, for me, was confusing in the beginning, but eventually once I understood it better, I saw how it tied everything in this book together. The magic system is very essential to the story, so it was really cool to see that. The characters were so vibrant, and honestly, there were some characters that annoyed me in the beginning, but I ended up loving them later, and some characters that I liked in the beginning and then ended up hating them at the end. Don't be surprised if that happens to you too. I love Sanderson's writing style. I know he gets criticized for his prose quite a bit because it's very simplistic. However, I really love his writing style. I think because it's so simple, it allows his more complex world building and characters and plots and plot twists to really shine. By making the prose and the writing more simple, it becomes more accessible to readers, especially those who are new to his books or new to fantasy. But yeah, I really like this book. I had a good time with it, and I cannot wait till I continue reading more Brandon Sanderson. After that, I read a highly anticipated book that I ended up buying after I finished my vacation, and that is The Will of the Many by James Ellington. This book has so much praise. There's so many people who've rated this book highly, who love this book, love everything in this story, and it has a 4.6 rating on Goodreads, which I don't know, Goodreads ratings even mean anything these days. It seems to be most people's favorite book of the year, last year and the year prior, so this has just a lot of attention and a lot of love. I gave this book a 4.0 star rating, and I'll explain why. The plot is complex, but in its basic form, it's about our main character, Vis, who's a teenager. He suffered a lot and lost a lot too, and he is living in an orphanage, and one day a high-ranking Senate member decides to adopt him and sends him to a elite academy. And the reason Vis is recruited to go to this academy, attend that school, is to uncover a mystery that his adopted father really wants to know and solve. Vis has to basically attend this academy and climb up the ranks and surpass all the students to get to the top highest rank, and that way he can unravel more of this mystery. And there's so much more that goes into the story. Like, that is the most simple, basic summary I can give. I'm gonna start by saying this is a really good book. It has a really good storyline, really good plot line, really complex magic system, and this whole story is fantasy, but there's some sci-fi elements in it. And this is a Roman-inspired book, and you can definitely see when you read the book that a lot of Roman influence went into it. And so it's really cool because I love the Roman period and the Greek period and stuff and reading about it. He was annoying at times, okay? He annoyed me, he was cocky at times, but that's because he's a very clever and smart and resourceful individual, and he knows that. He knows what he's capable of. He knows what he can do. He knows all he had to endure to gain certain skills and abilities. He is a fun character. He was a good character to read about. I love the moments where he showed his brilliance on page. Those were fun moments to read. I also love his friendship with the characters in this book and how he uplifts them and their banter and just their friendship dynamic. It was fun. I also love the academic setting. That was really interesting to read about, and just how Vis had to climb up the ranks by using his intellect mainly. He's a strong individual, but he had to use his brain power most of the time to be able to surpass a lot of these students. So that was really interesting. I enjoyed how the author kind of blended some sci-fi into the fantasy. That was very interesting, and it made for a very immersive experience. I really felt like I was there, and I also loved where the story was going, because when you get to the ending was wild. It definitely sets up for the next book, so I'm definitely going to read the next book. Very interested to see where this story is headed. I also love James Allington's writing style. I think it was very beautiful, very descriptive. You really get a sense of what he's trying to tell you, the emotions that he wants you to feel, and the setting, the atmosphere, like everything. He describes the story so brilliantly, and I really enjoyed his word choice. The biggest reason I gave it a 4.0 is because although the writing was beautiful, it felt very dry. I felt like I was trudging while trying to read this story. And again, it's not because of the storyline itself or the plot or the characters, none of that. It's because of the writing. And because of that, I felt like my reading experience of this book was very slow and drawn out. I was very much just slugging my way through this. It took me about 2 weeks or so to finish reading this book, which it's like a 600 something page book, and honestly most 600 page books don't take me like a whole 2 weeks plus to finish. Because of that, my reading experience wasn't as great as I was hoping for it to be. Also, I think I went in with like really high expectations. It just fell short for me a little, and a lot of it is just because of that dry writing style. Hoping the second book is not like that, fingers crossed, but I am very much invested in the story and the characters to continue on. Last but not least, I have The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This book I gave a 4.0 star rating. This book basically is about Casey, who is a recently widowed actress. She comes to stay at her family's house, which is on this lake with a few more residents. She is a raging alcoholic, and to pass the time, she spies on her neighbors who are across from her, across the lake. One day, the wife disappears. Casey now becomes obsessed with wanting to know what happened to the wife and if the husband is behind her disappearance. Honestly, was my least favorite Riley Sager book that I've read so far, and that is because of the ridiculous, outlandish, far-fetched ending that we get. The plot twist was just bonkers. It was so out there. It just felt like Riley Sager was experimenting with this book. It was very different from the other 3 books that I read last year. It felt like something he was trying to do, and I don't know if he really hit the mark. I do enjoy Riley Sager's writing style. Honestly, I felt like if another author wrote this book with the ridiculous ending that it had, I probably wouldn't like it so much. But there's so much about this book that I was not a fan of. So let me start with the characters. So our main character, Casey, she is a raging alcoholic, like I said, and because of that, she's an unreliable narrator. Not only that, but the first 150 to 200 pages is just about her drinking and spying on her neighbors. That's it. It's about every shot she takes, what alcohol she's drinking throughout the day. It just became so repetitive and boring. I didn't think this book was going to go anywhere, because that's all it was. The first, again, 150 to 200 pages was just her drinking. All this was just about her drinking. I've noticed that Riley Sager has a certain template for his characters. So usually it's a female, down on her luck main character. Her love interest tends to be a hot, good-looking man who's like a groundskeeper, a handyman, a ranch hand, like doing some sort of laborious work. I want to preface that this is a paranormal book. I thought it was a thriller mystery, ended up being a paranormal book, which is so, again, different than what I've read from Riley Sager books, which is why I suspect this is more of an experimental book. Riley Sager likes to kind of toe the line between like paranormal and reality. You think something is paranormal or some paranormal events are occurring, but it's just people doing stuff. I felt like there was a better way, there could have been a better way to tie everything up, like the mystery at the end and whatnot. However, he went in the direction he went in, nothing I can do about that. I enjoyed how crazy the plot twist was, okay? I enjoyed how outlandish it was. Sometimes it's nice to read a ridiculous book because it'll keep you on your toes. I could not guess anything. I didn't know what direction he was going in. For that reason, I gave 4.0 because it's an unpredictable book. It kept me on my toes and it kept me flipping the pages because once we got into the ridiculousness at the end, I could not stop reading. I think I finished this at like 1 a.m. or something because I just wanted to know like what's gonna happen next. Not my favorite Riley Sager, but I will continue reading Riley Sager because again, I like his writing style. And then for, I guess, an honorable mention, I'm currently reading Chests of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson, and I love how it just matches my nails. That's so cute. This is one book that I really wanted to read. I didn't get to it last year, so I decided to start off this year by reading this. Can't say if I like it or not. So far it's good. However, because I'm still really early into the book, I don't have much of an opinion yet. It is different than most of Sanderson's books in terms of writing style, but that's because it is from the first person point of view of a character, and Brandon Sanderson tends to write third person, so that is different. It's still cute and it does have that fairy tale vibe to it. So now I'm going to talk about some channel updates or things I want to add to my channel and to my videos. So if you don't want to watch this part, you can totally skip it. First and foremost, I want to add more jewelry content to my videos. I am a small jewelry business owner. I have a Etsy store and I sell jewelry on there. Right now, I'm only selling within the United States, hoping to go international eventually. I want to incorporate more jewelry content into my YouTube channel. So it doesn't mean I'm going to shift over to just jewelry, but I kind of want to add that and weave it into my videos. Somehow, I'll figure that out. I am planning to do more shorts, like YouTube shorts on my jewelry versus long form video. Long form video, I'm gonna keep that for more of my books. And I do overall want to do more YouTube shorts. I think they're fun and they're easy and they're engaging. Second thing I want to do is more book reviews. I do enjoy doing book reviews. I like going in depth with books and kind of just going over it overall. And my plan, and I don't know if it'll happen because it all depends on my reading schedule, I guess, but my plan is to do one book review per month. I think that'll be fun. I think that will keep me going and keep me excited to continue making videos. Another thing I want to do is to not feel pressured into reading what is viral or what is popular or what is new, because sometimes I do feel that pressure. I've mentioned this before, but when books become viral or super popular, for some reason I tend to not gravitate towards them. Like I wait for the popularity to die down and simmer down for a little bit and then pick up one of the books. I know a lot of people like to just jump on the train and see what the rage is about when a book goes viral and becomes popular. So I get that, but for some reason I go in the opposite direction. Sometimes I do feel that pressure where it's like, oh my god, everyone's read this and I haven't read this yet. Everyone's reading this and I'm not reading this yet. And I just want to kind of not fall into that and just read what I want to read and stay authentic and true to what I want to read. And maybe it's not the popular book at the time, and maybe it's not the viral book at the time, but that's okay. I don't want to feel like I'm falling behind or anything like that. I haven't read Fourth Wing yet, and Fourth Wing is still very, very, very popular. Onyx Storm is coming out soon, and I think it's going to bring the popularity back up again. Maybe I'll read Fourth Wing this year. I know everyone's read it already. I'm just kind of waiting for some of the hype around it to die down. Same thing with Sarah J Maas. Her books are so popular, everyone's read it, and I just feel like I'm falling behind. I do want to pick up her book, but I feel like I'm wanting to pick up a book because of the pressure I feel that I'm putting on myself, because everyone's read it and I keep saying like, okay, I will start Throne of Glass, or I want to start Throne of Glass, but I feel like I want to start Throne of Glass because I'm putting that pressure on myself to do so because it's so popular, so widely read. I just want to pull back from that and just stay authentic to what I want to read. And even if it's something that's outdated or old or a book that came out 10 years ago, I don't really care. I just want to read what I want to read, essentially, and not feel pressured to read what everyone else is reading. This year, when it comes to my reading in my booktube channel, it's going to be more about honesty and being more authentic to my actual reading experience and my quality of reading. I never like to pressure myself when it comes to reading, because reading for me has always been an escape, not an obligation. This YouTube channel is not an obligation. This is a side hobby. This is something I enjoy doing. That's all I have. I want to wish all of you guys a wonderful new year. Thank you all who've supported this channel, who've interacted with me. I'm hoping to meet more people and interact with more people this year. I really enjoy my time on BookTube, and I'm hoping to continue with it. I'm hoping personally that I don't have so much that happens in my life where it interferes with my reading. For all of you, I hope you have a great reading year. There's so many new books coming out and there's so much more for us to read. And I wish you guys a very happy, healthy new year, and just take care of yourself as always. Take care of everyone around you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.